you can't skip the steps that you have to have, but you need to be willing. We, over the phone or over email, would be no problem give a range of our fees to if somebody asks for it.
Yeah, you don't want to go, well, it kind of depends, and well, let's get you in here and talk about it. It's like, no, if they ask that question, give them a range if that makes you more comfortable. Or if you got a price, just name the dang price. Welcome to the Maven Marketing Podcast. Today is Maven Monday. I'm your host, Brandon Welch, and I'm joined by Caleb. How are you cooking your turkey, AG?
You know, I don't cook the turkey for our family dinners, but my father-in-law brines it, and then
using big words
and then
there.
bakes it. So get the
briner and a baker.
Get the brining bucket out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I feel like you're getting to that part of life where you're gonna have to take that.
You know, we didn't move away
Take those reins.
from family, and I think it'd be a while before we can host. That's the struggle.
Well, you don't have to host, but you can take the turkey. Unless he's just
I think I'm okay.
Okay.
I think
he's
I'm all right with it.
He's all right.
I might take the ham sometime soon.
That'd be good.
It's a winner.
Stop by Hand and Bake Ham.
Winner ham dinner.
Hey, happy Thanksgiving. This is the place where we help you eliminate waste in advertising, grow your business, and achieve the big dream. And today, we have two really good questions from our buddy Raj in North Carolina.
Yes.
And they are centered around selling B2B. We talk a lot about small businesses selling to consumers, whether it's, legal services or medical or home improvement or whatever your small business does. And a lot of our principles and a lot of our tactics that we offer here are really based in that mindset.
Yeah.
But the principles that we use and the principles that pulled the Maven Marketing podcast together and the Maven Marketer book and all the principles we've used to grow these companies over the years, we actually work with quite a few B2B companies, and they do work.
They do work. Raj is actually in local media sales, so hey to all of our media salespeople out there as well.
Word to your media rep.
But all of his clients would be actually local businesses, and so that's how he found this podcast, and he's been an avid subscriber for some months now, which is awesome. And he sent us a couple questions, and we want to knock them out today.
So, quick little thing. This podcast is all about improving the lives for small business owners and small business salespeople and anybody involved in growing a small business. That is our heart. That's why we do this.
Yeah.
You've never heard us ask for money or have some big pitch or anything like that. It's because this is the side of Frank and Maven that is making the business world a better place.
Mm-hmm.
And so, guys like Raj, there are people trying to sell you marketing services right now, and they are, representing their product, and I'm sure they're doing it well. But you want to find somebody who is a student of marketing. If you were thinking about investing in advertising, if you're thinking about investing in anything to grow your business, find somebody who, I love Dave Ramsey says this, has a heart of a teacher and a heart of a student, somebody who's always learning instead of just trying to figure out how to sell you the product better. They're really, really breaking down why it's going to work or not work for you. Right?
That'd be a really powerful question. If somebody's selling you media or advertising, what have you learned lately?
What are you studying right now that excites you?
Yeah. And that'll be telling. Their answer right there will be telling whether or not they're growing as a marketer or just staying the same, or they're just a salesperson.
Yes.
Deep down.
Man,
right?
that's the leveling question.
Yeah.
Love
all right.
That. And Raj is studying to make you better. So thank you, Raj.
Thank you, Raj.
Raj's first question.
All right. His first question. He said he was referring to not last week's episode. Now,
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. When we were talking about marketing to introverts and extroverts, and the title of that episode, if you want to go look it up, is "Are You Ignoring Half of Your Customers?" He said this episode was more focused on the face-to-face sales process for different personalities, specifically introverts, extroverts.
We talked a lot about that.
Here's the question, should I develop my sales assets and processes to include all personalities, or should I create modular assets and processes? I got this. I can do it.
You can do it.
Should I create modular assets and processes and use them as needed for each personality?
Great question.
Yeah.
Great question. So it's like...
do you account for all, or do you make two different sets, two different systems?
Yeah. So my first thought on this is that you do both until you figure out what you're dealing with.
That's it. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Those episodes were... the last two episodes were about aligning your communication and your strategies to be with the preference of whomever you're dealing with. So call, like if we're thinking top funnel website and like just initial hand raising, like you've got to have a really attractive call now button. Talk to a real professional. We have a client that actually in B2B, we say talk to a real person in 7 seconds. Funny enough, we just applied this logic to this client I'm talking about. They're really, really good on the phone. Like they've got an excellent, like probably the best Disney level customer service I've ever heard of.
Yeah.
And sure enough, like in an industry where it's phone trees and like, you know,
Tickets,
getting stuck in a
support
ticket queue
tickets.
and like emailing and only talking to like overseas developers to fix your problem. They're the ones that take, you know, this service that they do, and you can literally talk to somebody right now.
Yeah.
In the payroll. By the way, just mention them, A+ payroll.
Hey guys.
Yeah.
What's up, Brian and Paul?
What's up, Paul and Brian? So they're really good at that, and they're also really good at the electronic communication. But something we just did for them is we were like, you know what can we do to level it up for the people who are not ready to talk? Like that's not attractive to them. They already had some good chat functions and things like that, but we're really dialing in their contact form. So what you want to do for introverts, until you figure out what you're dealing with, is have not just a contact us, not just a, you know, submit your information, like a really well thought out, like what brings you here today, drop down.
Yes.
What problem are you trying to solve? Maybe if it's B2B, give them some options about describe best the phase of your business. What services are you most interested in?
Yeah.
Like more of a detailed consult in text form.
In the case of this website specifically, the primary call to action right now has been schedule a demo. Well, for an extrovert, they love the demo because they get the live chance to ask any question they get on the fly, right? An introvert may want to watch a video at their leisure and email you any questions they have after that. And so they took this episode we're referring to and started thinking about how do we change that early part of our sales process, our marketing process to help speak to everybody appropriately.
So I hit what I think is Raj's website, myproximityads.com. Great little website. Good job. Love the colors, love the clarity and the simplicity of the design. But you've got a button that says schedule a consultation, or I think it says free consultation, and it takes you to schedule a call. And I don't know what your availability is like, but that's an introvert move right there. Like an introvert wants to look at their calendar. They want to come prepared. They want to, they don't want a quick, you know, shoot, fire, aim. They want to know what they're getting into. And so I'm not sure what's out on the other side of this call scheduler, but he's basically got a, you know, what do you call
like
it? A Calendly.
Calendly kind of thing.
Yeah. And dude, there's a certain person that loves this. Okay. All the better is for this same person. If you say, great, here's what you could expect for our call. Here's what you should bring, like give the bullet points. And so that's where you're already like making those breadcrumbs, that sweet candy that the introverts love to find.
Yes.
But I'm just going to tell you, I'm never doing this. This is like, my goodness, I don't even know what I'm going to be thinking, you know, next Friday or whatever, you know? So I'm not that, well, thankfully I have a Riley. Okay. Riley is wonderful. And she keeps me from, you know, being a fool like that. But for me, for the extroverts, for the guys who are ready to like, who heard all about you and they're ready to just jump in and talk about it. Dude, you need a big call button, and you do have a phone number at the bottom, and that's fine. But like a free consultation is maybe, do you want to talk to somebody?
Yeah.
Or would you like to schedule a call?
Yes.
There's your best split.
Equal play.
Yes. And chances are high when somebody goes to the call schedule, you've got an introvert on your hands, but you'll know for sure if they give you a well thought out response in that initial part. So when you know what you're dealing with, that's when you start pivoting.
Yeah.
But have both skill sets and both assets, as Raj mentioned here, you know, at bay and understood and kind of down pat. And
if you detect really they're an introvert, probably from a well thought through email and all of that, Raj, I'm actually going to guess that you're an introvert based on the way you've articulated the emails.
Great emailer.
That you've sent to us. So maybe not. I'm just guessing. Even by your website, the fact that you
introvert preferencing.
Yeah, just introvert preferencing.
Yeah.
which is unusual because you're in the sales world, and oftentimes the tendency is more extrovert preferencing, and it actually is harder for those salespeople to bend towards an introvert. You might have the opposite case, which means you need to be able to grab the phone, pick it up, and call anytime. But if you have an introvert, you want to make sure you're willing to give them to answer pretty much every single question on the phone that might be possible. I would say within reason, there are probably non-negotiables in your process.
So what's this going to cost me?
Yeah, that's a good one.
What should your very next answer be?
The price?
Yeah. What's it going to cost you?
Yeah.
A range at least.
A range at least. I'm thinking about our process. The reality is we have to talk to somebody before, because we're in B2B. We have to talk to somebody before they will become a client. There's no complete digital option to become a Frank and Maven client because of the relationship we have to build long-term for our clients.
Yeah. Highly consultative.
It's very highly consultative. We have to make sure it's a good fit and it's a long-term partnership. And so you can't skip the steps that you have to have, but you need to be willing. We, over the phone or over email, would be no problem give a range of our fees just if somebody asks for it. And so that's something to keep in mind.
Yeah, you don't want to go, well, it kind of depends, and well, let's get you in here and talk about it. It's like, no, if they ask that question,
yes,
give them a range if that makes you more comfortable. Or if you got a price, just name the dang price.
Yeah, if it's fixed,
and you can immediately follow it up with, and what that gets you is it's $50,000 if that's the price, or $100,000 or whatever. And with that, you get right a list of bullet points. So, great question, Raj. Just know what you're dealing with. Get skilled in each one of those. And somebody called us out on it. Thank you, whoever called us out. We didn't put the link last week on the book, to this book. But Nate's going to do it right now, and he's going to go fix the last episode right now. It's called The Art of Speed Reading People. Raj is going to get a copy of this.
Good job.
Thank you
Raj.
for sending the question.
Yes.
And one of the best books I've read. It's got literal cheat sheets about if you see this, it's probably this person, and be a nice person and talk to them this way.
We didn't cover, just real quick, extrovert preferencing people. Extrovert preferencing people.
Okay.
We would want to make sure you're willing to drive to them.
Ooh,
right?
Yeah.
Raj, you're in North Carolina. By the way, if you need some advertising and you're in the Charlotte area, look him up.
Give our buddy Raj a call.
Hey, so be willing to drive over across town, meet them in their lobby, talk to them, shake their hand, look them in the eye, let them ask you all the questions. Intercept them at a networking event, bring coffee when you drop by.
Heck
Always a winning move.
Always.
Yeah. Or
I got a lifelong friend that way one time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or Andy's is the local frozen custard. That's a good one.
So, this won't work for every B2B person, but intercept them in a networking event, dude, stalk them on social, figure out where they like to.
Yeah.
I mean, not like run into them at a restaurant, but if they're in the chamber, make sure you show up the chamber stuff.
Yeah.
If they're in,
You're here?
Rotary or something like that, maybe try to get invited to a Rotary event, or find the causes that they like to support and maybe support that cause. Go to an event if there's a fundraiser thing or something like that. All tactics that I used when I was in media sales. Did you know I was in media sales?
I've heard that once or twice. Yeah. Read in a book once.
I tried to sell Caleb some media one time, and that's why he's here.
He got me.
Turns out
sold me a lot more than that.
Yeah, it did. Sucker. All right. So, and then the things you do with extroverts is you talk about the weather, talk about the Panthers game or whatever. So
yeah.
Bottom line, know what each type looks like, adapt to their communication style, preference as soon as you know.
Yes.
If you missed that episode, none of that made sense, but please go back. That's one of my favorite episodes, maybe ever, but definitely this year.
Yeah.
Are you ignoring half your customers?
That's a good one.
Yeah, that was actually prompted by a different media rep who said, total side note, he's like, why would I ever run any type of Google ad except for call now? Because
people I can get them on the phone.
I can get them on the phone. And I'm like, well, that works 8 to 5 for exactly 50.1% of the population.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway.
Yeah. That's a quick other anecdote. A magazine sales rep called our office for Megan, who places, she's the, traditional media consultant for most of our clients. they said, hey, I'm starting a new magazine. I want to talk about advertising opportunities. Is Megan available? She was in a meeting. Riley at our front desk said, no, she's in a meeting. Can I take a message or give you her email address so that you can reach out? And he said, no, I'll call back so I can get her on the phone, basically. And that is an extrovert preferencing salesperson.
He's either very wise and listened to last week's episode and knew he was dealing with an extrovert because he saw Megan's, extroversion out in the wild
She
somewhere.
is an extrovert. That will be a better situation.
Yeah. She's a hardcore extrovert. That will work out better for him, I promise.
Yes.
Or he was an extrovert and just didn't care.
Yes. That's a danger.
Probably more likely.
Probably more the second option. Most extrovert preferencing salespeople like to control the narrative, control the conversation, the presentation. And that is good to a level, but you can control how well your email sounds.
Guess what? Your gatekeepers, high likelihood they're introverts because they're gatekeepers because they like being at the gate. They like being inside.
Well, I'll tell you, I heard about it. So that tells you something. Riley was kind of like, that was weird. Why wouldn't he leave a message? Why wouldn't he even tell me anything about himself? He wouldn't even leave a callback number.
Because let's just say he didn't know, and I bet he doesn't know. Because if he knew Megan, he would already have called her directly. A better move there, side lesson, would have been to say, cool, Riley, thank you so much. Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to send you an email with a detailed, idea of what I'd like to talk to Megan about.
Yes.
And he's covering his basis, right? In the event that Megan and Riley are both introverts, and he knows how to write, or at least he can use ChatGPT to come up with some
email.
I mean, all the better if he's a persuasive writer, but you could cheat with Cheat GPT and see what I did there?
I like it. I like
Cheat GPT. That's a new one. And then he would also have put in his CRM or his note or whatever, call back in 2 days. He would have covered his bases until he knew. He would have called and fished with that bait, and he would have done the email thing. Yeah. Do both until you know.
Yes.
Cool.
That's powerful. And gatekeepers, important to keep in mind because they do flavor your message.
Sure they do.
100% they flavor your message.
Whole episode coming up on that. The inside champion is the most valuable player in that sales equation.
Okay.
All right, cool.
Second question from Raj. This one's a little bit longer, so hang on. Here we go. We're going to set it up. In your book,
The Maven Marketer.
The Maven Marketer. Here it is. Boom. Bing. Nate, wait, hold on. Bing. There it is. It just showed up.
Sound effect.
You got the,
with a link to Amazon.
That's what you forgot to do last time. You forgot the sound effect. In your book, you emphasize the importance of building genuine connections with the local community by creating messages that evoke emotions, whether it's smiles, cheers, or even tears. You highlight that when we forge these meaningful relationships, people are more likely to turn to us when they need a solution or at least give us a chance. He is describing tomorrow marketing right here.
Yes, he is.
Another marketing perspective suggests focusing on delivering value to a broader audience. Still sounds like tomorrow marketing to me. Capturing signals from them and nurturing these relationships over time to eventually convert them into customers. This approach often involves creating content like tip sheets, white papers, case studies, and surveys to attract and engage potential customers, nurturing them until they're ready to make a purchase. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this approach. Where do you see it fitting into the broader landscape of customer types, especially in terms of today and tomorrow customers?
Okay. This is really two questions. And they're really good questions. One is essentially he's asking, how do you do tomorrow marketing for B2B?
Yeah.
And he's saying, he's aware of the strategies in B2B is like make these white papers, case studies and surveys. And Raj, you're already doing it because that is tomorrow marketing.
Yes.
Review of tomorrow marketing. All three types of customers have a different strategy, message, and media component. Okay. So the strategy for tomorrow is all about building commitment, standing for a certain quality, and building that relationship. So promising commitment, building standing for a certain quality of the way you do things, and getting a relationship built with that person.
That's right.
And one or multiple of those angles has to be involved in like your approach. So you're not, point being, versus a today customer where you're saying, I've got it for this price, I'll deliver it this fast, and I'm going to remove all the friction for you saying yes right now.
So you can do it right now.
Yeah, that's price, speed, and hassle.
Yep.
Tomorrow is like, hey,
I'm patient.
I'm all right if we're not buying today. Let's talk. Let's be friends. Let me add value to your life, usually via something interesting or entertaining.
That's
Okay?
right.
Which leads to the smiles, fist, tears he was talking about. But building quality and commitment in relationships in B2B, there's not really often a media that is just specifically meant for one industry or specifically meant for business owners. If there is, it's usually in some print or periodical digital form.
Yeah.
I could argue you could place ads in some sort of digital targeting on LinkedIn and maybe follow them around a certain way, but you'd be getting into some really high CPM media.
Yeah, high cost.
So an alternate method, when we talk about media for tomorrow customers, we want to reach the largest group of people we can daily. And we say daily just as often as you can, and that's frequency. Because the key to building a tomorrow relationship is having a mentality or a strategy that is like, hey, I'm not begging for the sale right now. I'm just going to build a relationship with you.
Yes.
I'm going to demonstrate my quality and my commitment to you. B, I'm going to show up to you very, very often, just like good friends are built, so that one day when you need me, you're going to think of me first. I'm going to add value to your life. And so these, if you're in B2B, these, putting out tip sheets, white papers, case studies, surveys, like
even some of your blogs can be in this way.
Yeah,
People
all of
subscribing to your blogs and
yes,
podcasts, stuff
Yes.
like that. I don't know who would do that, but
yeah, who would do that? Yeah,
yeah.
13,000 of you. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So
Practically, I want to just kind of
Yeah, go
maybe
ahead.
more practically what he's describing is I'm on Raj's website and it'll say download our guide for how to properly place or how to not waste money on billboard advertising or something like that.
Yeah.
On how indoor advertising compares to outdoor billboards.
maybe, but
something
what if
like
I'm
that.
selling B2B? Maybe that would hit.
Yeah. So he has a guide. I put in my email address. It emails me that guide. Now, Raj has my email address as I've leaned in that I am somehow in his space. I've raised my hand and I'm a tomorrow customer by nature right there. It is his job. Not only has he already added value because I've got the white paper or the case study or whatever that thing is, but it's also his job to nurture me and to create that frequency that we
Yes.
talked about where he continues to bond and build quality and relationship with me.
Yeah, exactly. Raj is making himself, in that case, the most known, liked, and trusted expert in billboard advertising, if that's his
Yes.
example. And so he's going to get you in that email list, and hopefully he gets a lot of people in that email list. That becomes his media. That becomes the largest group of people he can, reach daily, because it would be actually maybe impossible to do that in a publication or a media channel, or just very, very expensive to do so.
Especially with that amount of targeting.
Yes, with that amount of like specifics. I'm going to guess there's a really specific person Raj wants to talk to. So he's going to build his own media by attracting them with these things. But the principles are the same.
Yes.
We're talking to a large group of people. We're adding value to their lives as often as we can. We're being entertaining, and we're not going straight for the jugular saying buy billboards today. We're saying the 5 most successful billboards of all time. I would read that.
Yeah.
Should I do digital or print billboards?
Yeah.
I'm just making up stuff.
What
but
he put on his billboard might surprise you.
yes. The city almost made him take this billboard down, right?
Yeah.
I would open that email. And so Raj is building value, and everybody opening that is interested and curious, and they're not buying billboards today, but someday when they go, I should put a billboard up, they're calling this guy, right?
That's right.
So, that's the strategy side of it. It's the same thing. Your tomorrow media is this list you're building and nurturing, as you said. Tomorrow customers is always about nurturing.
Yes.
Same thing, same different buzzword, same thing.
Yep.
Now, you asked about smiles, fists, tears. I'll argue that, not argue, I think state factually, like we pay attention to things that are not predictable. So Roy Williams uses the example of dog bites mailman is not a worthy news article or subject line, but a mailman biting a dog.
Yeah.
I'll read that every day.
Oh, yeah.
So your smiles, fists, tears in these white papers, yeah, sure, you could put out, 8 statistics you need to know about billboard advertising.
Yeah.
Some people will read it if they're looking for that. But those examples we just said a second ago, the city almost made him take this one down,
Yeah.
or the color that will get your ads noticed no matter what, like just making stuff up. But these
Yeah.
are little smiles, fist, tears things. And for the business world, highlighting an opportunity, that's the smile.
Mm-hmm.
A problem is the fist, like big bad wolf, right?
Mhm.
Or a cautionary tale is the tears or the sad thing.
Yeah.
You're using the same principles. And when we talk about smiles, fist, tears in the Maven Marketer, all we're saying is make them laugh, cry, or get angry about something. Those are the most 3 dependable emotions to bond your message to long-term recall.
Yeah.
You can get that blood flowing if you can get somebody stirred about something. And there's a lot of creative tactics to do that. Nate the camera guy and Carter the camera guy are masters at that.
Mm-hmm.
But you just don't put out the boring white paper.
Yes.
I have no less than 500 of them in my downloads that have never been read.
Yeah.
Or they've been skimmed, but they didn't. I don't even remember who I got them from. Make it purple, or make it polka dot, or make it, inflamed with some sort of emotion.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
That's that emotional. You said it. Creating messages that evoke emotions. You said that right at the top. And I think the danger when we go into this like case study, white paper, it sounds very logistical.
Yes.
Referencing last week, thinkers, feelers. It sounds very logistical. The truth in tomorrow marketing is that it has to have an emotional, a feeler kind of pull, because that is what bonds you to a person. It is emotional feelings and bonds
curiosity
you to a
is an emotion.
business. Yeah.
So that just being interesting and well spoken in your industry or your vertical that you're somebody's naturally interested in, that's good. Like expert material is somewhat emotional because it satisfies a curiosity thing.
Mm-hmm.
But all the better if you make it if you just make it somehow sizzle with something that's like, dang, that makes me smile or makes me go, those stupid people.
And I'll say, don't be afraid to, I think what we're trying to say is don't be afraid to break the rules of what
break them.
Everybody else would expect you to do right now.
Yes, that's the biggest principle there.
With these kinds of things, if you're like, download our tip sheet, wrong. That's not going to be it.
Forgettable.
It
may be accurate, but it's forgettable.
I saw that on 4 other websites.
Yes.
This week, theoretically,
yes.
And that was just, the bar is so low at that point. And so if you can shock me, I'm trying to think of a fun way to do that. But if you can shock me,
don't say 5 tips for buying insert product. Say how to not get ripped off.
Yeah.
Or don't get ripped off like Sandra.
Yeah. I was gonna say she lost $20,000 by wasting her money on this billboard. If I was on a billboard company's website, I'd be like, what's that? Tell me
exactly
how did so
we have just like 20 minutes ago, or however long this episode is, in 20 minutes ago, I wrote a line of copy that was don't get raked over the coals.
Yeah.
For a product for a client. And it was like,
that burns a little bit.
Everybody else would say, you can get a best deal guarantee. And I was like, no, that sucks. Don't get raked over the coals.
It's evocative.
It's evocative.
You feel it.
Hey, nobody else has ever said that in this category, in this market. I guarantee it. And it's just a little bit more edgy. So that's the smiles, fist, tears. That's more of a copywriting style and an audacity and a courage to not be boring. Raj, don't be boring.
Yes. I know you won't be.
Predictability will kill the ad. It will kill the white paper. It'll kill the tip sheet. It'll kill your website copy. Yeah. Don't be predictable.
Number one thing you can do, look for ad speak real quick. That's a really powerful thing. That's things like 10 years of experience, and we've got locations all over the city.
You'll be sure to be happy with.
So just look for things that sound like ads.
Yeah.
But then the second thing you can do really easily, send it to somebody else.
Yeah.
That is just totally outside your industry, and say, hey, does this sound like an ad? And if they say yes, you got some work to do.
You know where he could send it? Maven Monday, frankandmaven.com.
Oh my goodness.
All right. Okay, last little thing. If there was one thing I would do better in the Maven Marketer, if I release a second edition of this, I will put there's like a paragraph that talks about this, but I would talk about it stronger. Because it's not always obvious. there's a moment where your tomorrow customer shifts into a today customer.
Mhm.
Okay. Everything you do in tomorrow mode was just to get them to choose you when that moment happens. Okay.
Yeah.
And so Raj is probably looking at this going, oh, well, you talk about this tomorrow media and all this stuff. Well, you're doing a tomorrow media. The principle with all these things is tomorrow media. And that I would almost call it nutrition, but it's what's the word?
Nurturing.
Nurturing. Thank you.
You got it.
Nutrition. That nurturing you're doing is just maybe inching them closer. It's definitely making them closer to you. There's a moment they're going to go, okay, I'm buying today.
Yeah.
And you're the one that pops in their mind first. They feel good about you.
Yes.
They have good thoughts about you. They're like that. They've already long determined you're their guy.
Yeah.
You're just waiting for that moment in time. And maybe with your nurturing,
You got it.
you're getting them there faster than they would have because you're giving them confidence to act faster than they would have gone and explored that information on their own. So great questions. If you're in B2B, you absolutely have to have a tomorrow marketing strategy and a today marketing strategy and a yesterday marketing strategy, just like a B2C business does. That will look like different medias for you, but don't ignore the principles. That grid inside the Maven Marketer, it's in the close to the back. Just make sure that your strategy is based on commitment, quality, and relationships for tomorrow, price, speed, hassle for today,
Mhm.
and support, tribal bond, and added value if you're a yesterday for the yesterday strategy. So do all three, and your media is just you're asking the questions. Where can I reach the largest amount of people if it's tomorrow? Where can I target the people buying today if it's today? And how can I reach my past customers consistently if it's yesterday?
Mhm.
It'll look different for every industry a little bit, every type of business a little bit, but those are the principles. Ask the questions. That's why we wrote them that way instead of saying do TV or do radio. And that makes some media people really upset that we didn't just say there's the best, but it's not always the best.
Yeah.
It's circumstantial.
It all can work.
It can all work. Sorry to say.
Yep.
Okay. Wonderful episode.
Yes.
Now you know. All we've been talking about
Hey.
works for B2B too.
Raj got his questions answered because he sent his question to Maven Monday
Sure he
at frankandmaven.com. If
Not
you have a
every-
question.
Not everybody asks as good a questions as Raj.
Yeah.
So we answer those privately sometimes.
Yes.
But you're going to ask a great question, and we're going
Yeah.
to answer it right here.
Bring it on. Let's hear it. So send those in, and we'll get back to you and let you know when and where we'll get that answered.
Absolutely. We'll be back here every Monday answering your real life marketing questions because marketers who cannot teach you why.
Are just a fancy lie.
Have a great week.
See ya.